Hello world! Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to properly care for a fresh tattoo. So far I only have two tattoos, both on my chest. I have the swan and I have peace in rainbow colors. Now to start off, I want to remind you that it's always better than you expect it to be. You know, you go in there, you bring your best friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or even your mom or dad or somebody you're really close with, have them hold your hand, calm your ass down, think about other things, don't tense up, and you'll be fine, okay? Okay, now that being said, once you get your tattoo, you cannot get it wet for the first 12 to 24 hours. But the main reason you cannot get it wet for the next day or so is because not all the ink is settled. And if you do get it wet, then the ink will run and it'll look really blotchy and crappy, and you don't want that, especially since it's going to be on your body for the rest of your life. So once you get your tattoo done, they are obviously going to bandage it up, but they're most likely going to tell you to keep the bandage on until the next morning. Now I know it can be tempting when you get home to take off the bandage and look at your cool new tattoo that you're absolutely in love with, but you have to fight off the temptation because the bandage is going to sop up any blood and you may start randomly bleeding for a few hours after you get it done, so you want to keep the bandage on until the next morning. When you do remove the bandage finally, you're going to notice that the ink may look really smeared, it may look really shitty, and you might be freaking the fuck out like, oh my gosh, they fucked up my tattoo, what do I do? But you know, don't need to worry because this is completely normal. Not all the ink settles anyway, and when you're able to wash it and let water run over it in the shower, that excess ink will wash right off, and in a few days, in about a week, it'll look fine like it's supposed to, so you don't need to worry about that. Now when you wake up the next day, you'll probably feel some tightness in whatever area you just got your tattoo. But you know what, that's normal, and I think the most important rule when you get a new tattoo is you have to resist all attempts to scratch it or to even touch it. You're going to be super tempted because it gets really itchy during the healing process, but you cannot scratch it. Okay, now for cleaning. I know I said earlier that you can't get it wet for the first 12 to 24 hours, but when you're in the shower, it's almost inevitable. And you know what, you're going to have some water and some liquid soap running down your body everywhere, and it's probably going to hit your tattoo. But you know what, that's okay. As long as you don't purposely and intentionally hold your tattoo under the water, don't do that. Having water and soap and stuff run down it like that is probably a good thing because that excess ink that's just kind of sitting there on the surface of your skin that I mentioned earlier is just going to wash right off. But when you finally can get it wet, you have to not scrub it. The ink still isn't totally settled, so by scrubbing it, you're going to probably take out a good portion of the ink, and it's going to be empty in spots, and it's going to look blotchy and just terrible and fucked up, and you will have wasted your money. Now, when you get out of the shower and you're drying, you can't scrub it. You cannot go like this to get it dry. The best thing you can do is to just gently pat it dry with a soft towel. You're not going to get it completely dry, but that's okay because it'll air dry on its own. Now, that's for when you're taking a shower. But obviously, for the first couple weeks or until your tattoo is fully healed, you're going to want to clean it. Actually, like, clean it with something. You're going to want to go out to the store and buy a dispenser of moisturizer. Now, obviously your dispenser doesn't have to be this gigantic, but you know what, I really thought I was going to use more of this than I actually did. You don't have to get a dispenser like this one, but I highly suggest and recommend that you get a dispenser instead of like one of those small tubes that you carry around in your purse or your bag or something, only because even though this is exceptionally big, you're probably going to use a lot more than you would find in a little tube. Now, you don't have to get moisturizer that has sunscreen in it like mine, but you know what, I do actually recommend that you do, because when you have a fresh tattoo, if you're going to be outside and the sun is really hot and it's summertime and it's beating down, UV rays can be very harmful to new tattoos. So if you have sunscreen as well as moisturizer in one, then you're cleaning out your tattoo and you're protecting it from the sun. Now, when it comes time to clean your new tattoo, you want to do it at least probably twice a day. When you're cleaning your new tattoo, this is what you want to do. If you have a dispenser, you're going to want to dispense just a little bit depending on how big your tattoo is. a little goes a long way. That's a good rule of thumb when you're cleaning a tattoo. That's how much I put on my fingers. Want to rub it in a little bit, and then gently rub over the tattooed area, gently. You might feel a little bit sore, but that's okay, as long as you're not putting pressure on your skin and like, then you'll be fine. Now that's about all you need to know about how to take care of a new tattoo, but there are a couple more things I want to cover. Tattoos generally take about 2 weeks-ish to heal, but again, this also varies because it depends on how much ink you have, how big the tattoo is. Another thing is that flaking of the skin in that area is completely normal, so don't worry if you see flaking skin, because most likely itching is accompanied by flaking and it's part of the healing process. It's gonna happen, it's inevitable. One last thing I want to say is that certain inks can and will reject from your skin. Now I know you're like, oh, ink can reject, what does it do? What happens? Well, the two most common colors that reject are purple and red. They don't really have a high rejection rate at all, but it is possible. And if you think there's something wrong with your tattoo, if it's infected, go to your piercer right away. So guys, thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it was super helpful. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, insights, anything, as usual, post it below. I will read and reply to all of them. And subscribe if you want to. And again, thank you guys for watching. You are the reason why I do these tutorials. Alright, so have a great night, guys. Bye.